G'day, I'm Adam Gordon, the Profits League Detective, and a very warm welcome to this cash optimisation report, a 5-minute interview where we give you some immediate practical tips on how to improve the cash flow and profitability in your business. If there's a perpetual problem in small business, it's how to get more clients, and to do so without it costing us an arm and a leg. Traditional marketing teaches you to spend large to get your name out there and build a brand. But the promise is that one day when your buyer has a need, they'll remember you. But we don't have the money, most of us anyway, to spend large. Building brands is great for Coke, great for MacDonalds, but it's not for us. For most small businesses, building a brand is a recipe for suicide by cash flow dehydration. But what if we can make the phone ring when we want it and get a measurable return on every dollar we spend marketing? Speed marketing is the art of doing just that, making the phone ring and getting a measurable return on every dollar. Now, someone who can tell us just how to do that is Richard Petrie from Speed Marketing in New Zealand. Richard, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Adam. Nice to be here.
For those of you who don't know Richard, he's a former New Zealand cricketer who played 12 one-day internationals for New Zealand. He's now 48, married with 3 children living in Wellington. He tells me he's mistakenly featured in the Guinness Book of World Records for a feat he did not accomplish.
Right.
Being in the Guinness Book of Records is just holding it up there.
Doesn't matter whether you did it or not. Your problem.
You're there. In fact, you might have a record for being the only person in the Guinness Book of Records who doesn't deserve to be there.
Possibly. Nothing wrong with that either.
Okay. Richard now helps consultants around the world to implement a simple system to win clients for whom money is not their number one buying criteria. And he's the author of the book, What to Do With Your Marketing Sucks. Mass conversion helps consultants go from selling one-to-one to one-to-many. And Richard claims that winning 20 clients at a seminar or webinar is actually easier than winning them one by one. So he's going to take us through 7 big ideas that'll help you sell more, sell faster, and sell more efficiently than you ever have in your entire life. And even how to do all that without spending a single penny on marketing. So we've got 5 minutes, and we'll get going on that. So Richard, can you tell us, how did you get to be doing this work?
How did I get to be doing it? Well, I was actually doing mental skills training. I was training sales teams in sort of visualization and goal setting and things like that for 3 or 4 years. And then a friend of mine said he was going to the States to go to a Dan Kennedy conference in Dallas, Texas. And so I said, oh, well, I'll go along. So I went along with him and enjoyed it. Got overloaded with all these concepts around direct response marketing, but thought it made sense. I like the psychology behind it, and I've really been doing it ever since. So I came back from there. Me and him decided to run, we said, well, let's run some seminars and see if we can teach people these type of ideas that we've learned. And we did. We sold some seminars. We were finishing our presentation like literally 5 minutes before the doors opened. We had 90 people at the first seminar, and 10 people applied to come and work with us for about $12,000 each. And we thought, all right, well, we might as well carry on with this business. Seems a good thing to be in. And so we made the course up sort of, this is about 10 years ago. We'd make up the modules as we're doing the training for these people that came on the course, a few days before we delivered it. We were 1 week ahead of our clients. So, we started jumping in the deep end and really, and we had some clients that did very, very well in that, not I suppose ironically, given we weren't making it up as we went along, but we weren't as well organized as we want to be, but we had a couple of clients who did exceptionally well and raved about us to such an extent that other people wanted to come on the program as well. So, been doing it ever since for the last sort of 10 or 12 years.
What were the frustrations of selling when you started out?
Frustrations for me? Well, I guess just knowing where to start and knowing what to do and what not to do. I guess when I started, I was selling photocopiers before I was doing that. And I remember being on the street. We had to cold call buildings down Willis Street in Wellington. And I'd been in the job for a week, and my sales manager said, well, you better get out there and start generating some leads. You've played around with the machines for a week. So I said, well, what do you do? He said, well, just go down the street and knock on some doors and start speaking to the reception and find out what machine they've got and see if you can get an appointment with the boss, right? So, oh, no, really? You know, I didn't really know enough. I didn't really have any confidence about the machine because I didn't really know enough about it. And to go and cold call and try and get appointments when I really felt they knew more about it than I did was really hard. And I remember sitting on the street looking across at the first building I was supposed to go and cold call, thinking, and just my heart was racing and thinking, I just don't want to do this. I'm going to have to quit because I've got no confidence to walk in there and talk to them about copies or anything like that. But fortunately, a friend of mine or one of the other sales reps called me up and said, where are you? I'll come down and join you. So he came down and joined me, and we started going through these buildings together. And that's the only way I would have gone through them because I need someone's hand to hold. So the toughest thing about, particularly going into business yourself is you may be great at what you do, but that doesn't mean you know how to sell your thing in an effective way, and it doesn't mean it's not going to be scary. So I think that's the scariest thing is getting started.
Okay, getting started. I think there'll be many people who agree with you. Most small business owners I deal with hate selling. They see them, it's a used car sales with real estate type of vision, and but you need to sell to get customers.
You do, and I don't think you need to sell like a used car salesman. I think that's what we get shown. That's what we get in some ways taught by some of the American, hard sell training ideas, but I really don't think it needs to be that way. I mean, I don't sell that way, and I don't think you sell that way. We tend to sell by educating, by teaching people things, and then they often come to us.
Yes, I believe very strongly in the education bit. Yeah. So, Richard, using your strategies and approaches, what results can people get?
Well, I suppose the extreme result, one of the clients in that first group where we made it up on the go, he was making $500 a month profit, and this is an extreme example, of course, but within about 12 months, he was earning $100,000 profit a month.
Wow.
He then went on to become the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. And so anywhere between that and nothing. If you botch it up, nothing. But you can earn, you can exponentially increase your business because really there's no limit to what you can sell, which I suppose the biggest limit is how much you can deliver.
Okay. Can you perhaps take our viewers through the steps that you find in doing this? Yeah,
first step typically we would take people through is select let me use a fishing analogy, all right? Okay, so first step when you're trying to catch fish is there's a lot of fish in the sea, all right? And if we were to just go out between Australia and New Zealand, you're in Australia, I'm New Zealand, I was to go out in a boat between the two of us and throw a line over the water, I'm probably not going to catch anything, right? And if I did catch something, it might be something which is not particularly tasty or not something I want to eat. Most of it's not. So step number one is select the best fish. Select the type of clients that you want. Okay, and there's lots of ways of doing this, but some of the ways that you might want to do it is, one, you can reach them. They are reachable. Two, they have money. Possibly three, they're already spending money to try and solve the problem. Maybe four, they're the type of people you can get really good results for quite quickly. Five, they value exactly what it is you're doing. Those are the type of things that it's up to you to define what your ideal client is, but those are some of the ones. Actually, another quick and easy way to do it is to look back on your past clients and say, of the past clients I've had, is there any type of client that's been really, really good? And there'll be two or three that will stand out and say, okay, what was it about those two or three, and how can I find another 10 like them? That's step number one. Select the fish.
Yep, right.
Step number two, I would say, is understand how they think. Okay, so what are their pains? What are their frustrations? What is it they're trying to achieve? What is it they want? Who do they hate? those type of things. So get inside their head so that you can understand, so that you can basically help them and also know how to attract them to you. So step number 2. Step number 3 is we're trying to catch fish here, right? So we need to know who they are. We need to know what they're thinking. Step number 3 is go where they swim, right? So if I like blue cod, if I was to just go out in the middle of the Tasman Sea, I'm going to throw the line over the water. I'm not going to catch a blue cod. Okay, I'm going to catch all sorts of mud eels and shark and all sorts of things I probably don't want. So there are certain places around New Zealand that you would go to, and one of the places you'd go to is to the Marlborough Sounds. And in the Marlborough Sounds, there's certain spots. And apparently blue cod only, they don't move more than 100 metres from where they were born. It's very similar to your clients. Your clients won't be everywhere. They will be in patches. And you've got to say, okay, what's the fish I want? How do they think? We'll see how they think in a minute. And whereabouts are they? And you've got to move yourself so that you're fishing over the top of a fishing spot, because then you can just pull them out effortlessly. But if you just go anywhere, you'll probably catch nothing. That's step number 3. Step number 4 is you're going to have to work out what your bait is. Now, most people think their bait is their offer. So you're a profit leak detective. Maybe you sell consulting services. I'm a marketer, I sell marketing services, but that's not the best bait to say, hey, I'm Richard Petrie, come and hire me $12,000 and we'll work together. That's the last thing you want to sell. So what we need to do is almost like we need a first date. We need a first date. So I call it, we have to create the bait. What is the bait that's going to get them coming to you? So there's 2 ways to get fish. One is to chase them around with a spear gun. And what happens if you chase fish around in the water with a spear gun?
They run away or swim away.
Correct. And it's the same if you try and chase them and try and sell your services. They often run away and try and avoid you and don't return your phone calls. Okay, it's much better if you can drop some bait in the water and have them come to you. So what's the type of bait that's going to get people coming to you? In most cases, particularly if you're selling something slightly complex, it convert what you sell into a problem that you can solve. So if you drop out problem-solving information and get people to request it, just like you do. I mean, I know you do this, Adam. Then you're going to get people coming to you requesting that information. Now you can say, hey, I can provide you this information if you give me your postal address, or give me your phone number, or give me your email address, any of those type of ways. So let me give you an example. Let's say it's they need more clients quickly. One example would be the number one way to win. Let's say you're an accountant. The number one way for accountants to win 3 new clients in the next 30 days. If I've got a strategy that can do that, then I put that information out, make it available, and send it to them. Now, what's happened by them requesting that information? Now I have been, because they've contacted me, I've now been given permission to send them that information. Plus, I've been given permission to then continue to educate them and communicate with them and invite them to some sort of consultation. Next step number 5, I call it select the hook. Right? So it's not enough just to throw bait in the water. Okay, they'll come along and they'll eat it and then they'll swim off. We need some sort of offer where they have to give their name and contact details in return. So that's the hook, and that's the bit that Now we've sort of got them caught. Well, not caught, but we've got a line to them. So we're going to have a hook. Next step is we need a line. Number 6, we need a line to be able to. It's no good having the bait. It's no good having the hook. It needs to be connected to the string. So the line for us is a follow-up sequence. This is where a lot of people fall over, and I'm sure the profit leak detective will one of the things he'll do is look at do you have a follow-up systems? Most people don't, certainly not formal ones, right? So we need a systematic follow-up process that has multiple prompts to, if you want more help, then here's what you can do. You can come over here and you can get the next level of help. You've got the first level of help, which is just the generic information. If you would like me to review your specific situation, then come over here because I've got a special service in 1 hour or something like that, and I will help you to review your situation, and I'll give you an understanding of what your problem is, and and I'll give you a few tips, and then that'll help you. That's the next step. Okay, so that's it. That's the process. And then the final step, I would say, there's 2 more steps. And one is make sure you've got multiple fishing lines. So if you've got baits, if you're going to have 3 fishing rods in the water, you're probably going to catch more fish than if you've just got one.
Yep.
Okay, so don't just have one way of getting people in. Maybe you've got a website. Maybe you're running little ads. Maybe you're doing referrals. Maybe you need a stack of little fishing rods out in the water. And some will work better than others, but it's still worth having all of them out there. Final thing is make sure you test and you're measuring everything. So
you know what works.
That's it. Every time you spend $1, if I've got 10 different lead sources, I need to have a spreadsheet with all the different lead sources. I need to know how much I've spent for each of the fishing rods each month. I need to know how many leads I got from each of the fishing rods. I need to know how many of those leads converted to meetings. So, how many people are requesting, say, the information, the number one way to get clients for accountants. I need to know how many meetings those things from each of those lead sources. Then I can work out, okay, what did it cost me per lead to get from each lead source? What did it cost me per meeting? And what was my return on investment from each of those different lead sources? And I might cut some of those fishing rods and put in some new fishing rods and see if they work better. So that's sort of the system.
Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of dollars too if you do it right. So yeah, hopefully that helps people.
Look, I think it will. I think one of the things I found, I've been doing this a long time, is that most small businesses are not systematized at all. Marketing is a yellow page ad, or these days a website, and yeah, not much more. They might have an open day or something, but they don't have a system, and they don't have a series of steps that they can follow through. So I think people are going to find that very useful indeed. So I think thanks for that, Richard. Where can people go to get more information or resources?
If they want to get, probably the best place, they can either go to my website, which is speedmarketing.co.nz, speedmarketing.co.nz. And I believe they can go to 30-day challenge at the moment anyway, 30daychallenge.co.nz, download a book which actually explains a lot of those concepts in greater detail. So 30daychallenge.co.nz, and they can download that book. If they want to get hold of me, they can send me an email, richard@speedmarketing.co.nz.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Richard, look, thank you very much for that. As I say, I'm sure my viewers will find that very, very useful indeed. I look forward to being able to put the word out there for you.
Thanks, Adam. And hello, everybody in Australia and New Zealand. All the best with your marketing and your sales. And actually, my final comment is actually enjoy selling. I used to think all selling and, snake oil salesman and all that when I was starting out as well. But now I love selling. I love the psychology of it. I love constructing offers that, I think if you're selling value, you actually enjoy selling. It's only when you know that you're trying to get money out of people for something which isn't worth anything. So focus on, find the big fish for whom what you offer is great value, and so that when you sell it to them, you feel really good, because for every $1 they're giving you, they're probably going to make $10 back, or they're going to get a lot of value from it. And then you don't have to worry about feeling bad about selling. I mean, you're doing them a favor. And I think step number 1 is select the best fish. So select people who are going to get huge value from what you offer, and you'll always do well.
Great. Thanks very much, Richard.
Cheers, Alan.